What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. How's this for equality? Women can't compete with men academically. I didn't say it. It's somebody else that said this. And you know what else? It's from Whackademia. Oh, no, this is not some men's think tank. This isn't the male society of totalitarian men speaking here. No, this is Oxford. As in England. Oxford. They're saying this. How's that for equality? In an effort to raise test scores, Oxford University give women 15 minutes extra to complete their exams. Huh? Say what? It's the Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com. You can get us on demand anytime, 24/7. You can hear this misogynistic talk about women not being able to compete with men academically. Now, we know women cannot compete with men in some of these physical activities, like hammer throwing. And I don't know, the javelin and a bunch of other stuff, lifting weights and all that. I know there's some strong women in the world, but the strongest man is still stronger than the strongest woman. And now we find out our brains are even better. How's that? I'm not saying this. Don't get mad at me. I don't want your emails. Send them to Oxford. According to officials at Oxford, allowing women more time on math and science is, quote, academically demanding and fair. Oxford implemented this new process, and here's the numbers. 39% of women earn what are known as first-class degrees in math, while 47% of men do. That's right, 8% more of men do that, and I did that math faster than any woman that was listening to the program. You want to know why I know? Because Oxford said it. Not me. This isn't Kevin Jackson. Don't send your mail to me. Send it to Oxford. Now, here's what's interesting. It's apparently a geography thing. In 2014, the Huffington Post examined the new gender gap in education. And according to current statistics, women are enrolling in and completing college at a higher rate than men these days. Beginning in 1991, more women aged 25 to 29 had obtained a bachelor's degree or higher than men did of the same age. The gap in college completion has widened in recent years because at the rate of men who are earning degrees has flatlined, while the rate of women earning degrees has continued to increase. There you go, Section 9 or whatever they call it. Since 1969, the rate of women ages 25 to 29 earning degrees has risen some 20%, while men in the same earning degree program, it's barely increased. So now 35% of all women have at least a bachelor's degree compared to only 25% of men. See? They're dumbing down men. They're emasculating them. They're infantilizing them. They're making them little boys. And then the girls have surpassed them. And now they're going to have a nation of Amazons here in America, but not in England. Where am I going? I'm moving to England, of course. Women now represent 3/5 of graduate students. That's 60% for you women out there listening. 60% of the graduate students are you. Now, my question is this. Are British women just more stupid than their American counterparts? This did not emphasize STEM classes. We're not talking math here. I suspect men in math are still smarter than women, even in the United States. But I don't know. I don't have the statistics. Now, it's not for me to keep up with. But if I did, I'd be smarter at getting to them than the women that are listening to the program. Not conservative women. I'm talking about these leftist women that audit my show, that go back and report to others on the left. Because you conservative women, you are smart. Stateside, Barack Obama launched an initiative. It was called My Brother's Keeper. Yeah, that project that took aim at the problem I just described, where men are now falling off. They wanted to encourage more young black and Hispanic men to enroll in and complete college. Now, while we should celebrate that more women attend college and obtain degrees than ever before, we should be concerned that men are being left behind here in America. And not much is being done about it. This trend has dire economic and social consequences. Men who don't graduate from college earn less money than men who do. Now, before we get into all these different statistics about this, you have to understand my take on it. I'm not that big a fan of college. I believe that men can learn how to weld, they can learn woodworking and things like this and make themselves an amazing living. Average welder today makes over $100,000, 6 figures. Many people I know in these professional degrees don't make six figures. Now we got social justice warriors and things like this. This, to me, is why we have these skewed statistics. This idea that, the man over in America is getting more and more stupid and graduating with fewer degrees. What it is men say, I'm not going to school to get a social justice warrioring degree. I'll either go to school to do something I want to do or I'm not going to do it. But anyway, my brother's keeper, it's been a failure. It's like all the things Barack Obama does. Failure. So here's my question. I'm back to this. Is it a geographical issue? How do we know? There's all kinds of things influencing the study, but here's what I can tell you. These studies all contradict each other, but one thing that does remain consistent is leftism. Because on the one hand, we've got Oxford claiming that women need more time to compete with men. On the other hand, we have Obama spending big bucks to make sure that men can compete with women. And then there's this Harvard study that reported men and women perform equally well on high-pressure time tests in math. Further, women far outperform men in low-pressure timed verbal exams. So it's about differences, right? Now, some Oxford officials claim that they'd rather see a demonstration of true mathematical understanding instead of this race to the answer. And if that's the case, remove the time constraints. But the same officials are also quick to point out that women are more likely to check their answers than men. So, did they even bother to ask men in this study, did you check your answers? Because if you checked your answers, it slows down all the test takers. So maybe the women aren't technically as slow, maybe they're just more deliberate. Certainly makes sense to me. Notwithstanding, is it possible to admit, just admit this, that men and women are actually different biologically? I mean, we do have different sexual parts. Here's another example. Boys tend to be more active than girls. It's just true. On the flip side, that makes them more restless when boys have to sit for long periods of time. Brains develop differently in boys versus girls. Scientific stuff, man. This isn't Kevin Jackson making it up. Male brains, they say, this is from Psychology Today, utilize nearly 7 times more gray matter for activity, while female brains utilize nearly 10 times more white matter. What does that mean? Is the female brain racist? I don't know. Gray matter matters. Gray matters of the brain are localized. They're information and action processing centers, specific splotches in areas of the brain, and they can translate to a kind of tunnel vision when they're doing something. Once they're deeply engaged in a task or a game, they demonstrate not much sensitivity to the things going around them. That describes a lot of guys I know. Also describes a few women. White matter's networking grid, it connects the brain's gray matter to processing centers. You can understand this. You probably know women who think this way. Nothing is bad about this, folks. So no matter how we try to make the genders identical, they remain fundamentally different. But let's talk about the real world. One question that they failed to address is how these extra minutes translate into real world applications. Now, surely college is meant to be prepped for the real world. We can all agree on that, right? So bosses who need to give women 15 minutes more time to complete a task are going to feel a little bit shortchanged. If you ask this, brother, I'm just saying. If that becomes the standard, then won't 15 minutes become counterproductive in leveling the playing field? Doesn't that have to be factored into this, I make only 72 cents to every dollar that a man makes? And the guy goes, yeah, but it takes you 15 minutes more to think. Shut up. See, because administrators want to hire people who can think the fastest, get the job done the quickest. Isn't there a saying out there? Let me think. What is it? What is it about money? Oh, that's right. Time is... Somebody help me here. Help me. Is it money? That's what it is. Yeah. Now, I know a lot of women who can outthink me on their worst day. I saw a hand go up. Oh man, the people that come into my broadcast booth. So anyway, I get it. I don't necessarily even believe it. But here, I'm going to throw you another wrinkle. What about the transgender community? Should men turned women be warned that this could occur? Or do they still have the advantage because they haven't really gotten all the plumbing done and all their naughty bits haven't been changed over? And here's another one. Think about this. Here's another conundrum. What of God, seemingly male? For men to spend less time rather in finding answers to the mysteries of the universe, God must be a male. Or maybe this study and the multitude of others that look to minimize women are just leftist nonsense? That's my calculation, and I computed that faster than women.